Welcome to the Scared But Not Damaged podcast, a podcast that supports, empowers, and inspires women that have experienced abuse or experiencing emotional trauma or pain. This podcast will challenge you to push against the tides and rewrite your story. On this show, I will be sharing some of the principles of Scared But Not Damaged, a life that has gone through adversity and abuse and has come out strong in spite of life's challenges. Despite the scars, your worth and your value remains intact and undamaged. Each week, we will discuss topics like what is abuse, what are the red flags that you are in an abusive relationship or marriage. I am your host, Naomi. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Scared But Not Damaged podcast. Today, we are on episode number 7. I am so glad. Episode number 7. 7 stands for perfection. Wow, number for perfection. And today I have a very special guest on my show. And she is a sister, a friend, a person dear to my heart, and someone God has positioned in my life at such a time as this. Kindly welcome Kennie Adegoke, popularly known as Kennie Crown. Kennie, and welcome to this special show. You are number 7. Number 7 is a great number.
I know. Thank you so much for having me. It is a great privilege. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks so much for honoring this. You kept your word, and God will continue to bless you.
Amen.
Yeah. Kennie wears so many crowns, so many hats. I don't know where to start from. She's Kennie Crown. She wears so many crowns. So I have to start somewhere.
That's right.
I have to really start somewhere. So let me start by introducing her. And if I miss anything, of course, she can help.
That's fine.
Kennie is popularly known as Kennie Crown. She's a writer. She's a wife. Number 1, she's a mother of 3 wonderful kids. She's a speaker, liberation and intentional lifestyle coach. They call her
Illuminator.
Illuminator. Okay, yeah. She is spirit-filled. She's the carrier of God's abode. She is a woman designed and an assistant pastor by assignment. Kennie Crown is the founder of Illumination and Ephatha podcast, a platform of divine assignment, her sphere of influence, which is where she has shed light to every darkness using highest form of the light of the word. Kennie Crown, her vision actually, and she does this motivational Monday where she gives some quotes which can help you for the rest of the week. Everyone who meets her must receive a dose of positive change and transformation. I am a testimony of that. I can testify to that. Kennie is a certified coach, a speaker, and a host. She's bagged her first degree in mass communication, and she's got certified with the Universal School of Aviation. She's a business analyst, and she's also a director of Kennie Emaya's Empire. She is an assistant pastor, like I said, an ordained pastor of Gospel Pentecostal Assembly. Kennie has a mandate and passion to see every human being, every gender, every race, and every family, young and old, realize their God-given potentials and live their lives in happiness. Kennie, I'm glad to have you here today on Scared But Not Damaged podcast. You are highly welcomed.
Thank you so much, sister. Wow. Lots of love and well done for the amazing job you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know if there's anything I missed out. If you just want to say something before we start the show. I don't know if you have a few.
No, not at all. You've said it all. Said it all. So yeah.
So like I said, today is the 7th episode of Scared But Not Damaged podcast. And today we are going to be discussing confinement and what better way to start this topic than to bring the master herself? She is a master and teaches confinement. So I'm just going to roll with it. And so thank you so much again. Thanks for honoring. I know you're a very, very busy person. I always wonder, and I stop asking those questions like, how do you do it? And you just tell me it is God. You don't even know. But I really thank God for the grace upon your life, Kennie.
Thank you.
Well
Thank you
done.
so Like you said, it
Well
is the
done.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The first question I'd like to take is just to ask you, what is confinement? Because a lot of people don't know they're confined, and they might know what it means, but they don't really understand when it's happening to them. So what can you tell us is confinement?
Okay, thank you so much for the question and for bringing me into my own space. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So now when we're talking about confinement, we're talking about a very important topic. And this is something that happens every day of our life. And if I should define confinement, I will go with the definition that says that it is a situation in which a person is kept somewhere, or that you have kept yourself somewhere, but usually by force. So it is not something that you voluntarily want to do, but because you've been through one issues or the other. So take, for instance, people who have been traumatized in their life, the only way that they can feel safe is to build a box where they can just be and be safe.
Wow.
So confinement, however, confinement is a place of redundancy, which means that when you are confined, it means that there is no progression and there is no possibility that you can actually be productive. Confinement robs you of your place in your kingdom, because then you will not be able to function as a royalty. Then you'll be functioning as a slave even in your own kingdom. What do I mean by that? We all know that we are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar person, that God has called us out from darkness into his marvelous light. But let us take it from the first part that says that you are a chosen generation. It means that there is a purpose for your life. It means that God has created you for a particular reason. And first, your identity is that you are a royalty. So now when things of the world keep you in a certain situation or box you or put you in a fix, then you will not be able to fulfill your purpose. You will not be able to operate in that level that God wants you to operate. You will not be able to function in that place that you also want to function. So confinement steals you of that position. So it is a place of isolation. You want to isolate yourself. You want to stay in a corner where nobody sees you, or where you can cover up yourself. That's where people will say, "Oh, I'm covering my shame." Okay, because something has happened to you, and whatever has happened to you, even if you are the victim, or if you are the one inflicting it upon yourself, there is a shame that comes with it. And that is why people go into confinement. They will not be able to speak out so that they can get the necessary help that they can get.
Wow.
So, and it is also a place of frustration, because oftentimes people know what they can become. But because of the circumstances that are surround whatever that they've been through, the events, it reduces what they can produce. It affects their thinking, and then it leads to frustration, because they know that this is where I should have been, but they can't move forward because they're not ready to break free, or they don't know how to break free from that confinement. So confinement is not a place where we should be. For every human being on earth, there is no one that is expected to be confined. However, Let us not forget that even the Bible says that in this world there are tribulations. It says
True.
that be of good cheer, for God has overcome the earth. So it means that there will always be tribulations.
That's right.
But we should not be confined. So a place of confinement is like a prison. If you want to visualize it, like someone who has been convicted of a crime, and they've just put them into a prison. When they are there, they cannot do anything. Their life is on hold. Even though they are living every day, even though they are taking their bath like everyone does, even though they are eating like everyone eats, but there is still a place in their life that they are not fulfilling purpose. There is still a place in their life that there is no growth going on there. So even if we look at ourselves and we think that, okay, I am not confined, but there you will be thinking about it. There is something missing in me. And that thing missing in you that you have not found out will not help you progress, because until you begin to fulfill that purpose, until you begin to function in your purpose, you are confined.
Wow, that is so powerful. Kennie, I must agree with you. It's amazing when you said confinement is not where people choose to go, but they are forced to build, to go into a container. It's amazing. Confinement is like, wow. It's not because you intend to, but because of the trauma or things that have happened to you, you're forced to go in there, knowingly or unknowingly. But that confinement stops you from living life or living your full potential. Wow. That's amazing. Thank you so much for the way you delved into that question, and you analyzed it. You elaborated it. I mean, you gave it so much flesh that, wow, it made so much meaning right now. Thank you so much. So the next question I'll be asking is, how do people get into confinement, or what circumstances push people into confinement?
Well, there are different things that could cause people to go into confinement or to find solace in confinement. So one of them could be disappointment. So take, for instance, you've been in a long relationship for 5 years or for 10 years, and maybe when you're supposed to go to the altar, that's when the guy decided to just say, okay, I'm not interested. And you've wasted, 12 years of your life. You've wasted resources. You've wasted your time. You see, such people, immediately they get the news, they don't even want to hear anything that has to do with men anymore. They want to put themselves in a place that they feel secured, where nothing of such will happen to them again.
Wow.
So disappointments could lead people into confinement. Abuse could lead people into confinement, be it verbal, physical, or sexual abuse. Guilt can lead people to confinement. Divorce can lead people to confinement. Even separation from parents. You see, the separation, the divorce that goes on these days, that father goes separately and mother goes separately. But we forget that there are children in that relationship that is going to feel the impact of that separation as well. So those children could be confined as well, because now they will sit themselves down and they will start thinking, how are they, especially when they see their friends in school that they have fathers and they have mothers, it begin to affect them, in their school, in their education. And that is why after time, the teachers will call, the parent to ask what's going on at home, because it's been affecting such child. And if it is not quickly tackled, it could have a long-term effect on that child.
On the child.
So social anxiety as well could cause people into confinement. You see, when people social media, and they begin to covet lives that they don't even know if those lives are real or not, and they just begin to think about their life like, oh, why am I like this? You see people, I don't like my nose, I don't like my eyes, I don't like my ears, I don't like the way I look, and they will just decide not to put themselves forward. They'll see themselves as not important or not qualified. So those people, they will, instead of taking the front stage, they will be taking the backstage. So another thing that could lead people to confinement could be bullying. So if you've been bullied, when you were much younger, or if you are bullied as an adult, it will steal some part of you that to face the crowd will be very, very difficult for you. So now they've created fear in you. So you will just find a place in yourself to confine yourself because of the effect of bullying.
Yeah.
Another one could be inadequate attention. When we, most people, when they try to shut their children off, oh no, I don't have time for you now. Oh, sorry, I'm too busy. I can't do this right now. Those children could actually need their parents' attention at that moment. Maybe something is going wrong with them in school and they need someone to speak to them about it. So immediately they keep getting the refuser from their parents. They'll confine themselves to a place where they feel safe. So they'll begin to advise themselves. You see? So some could be mistakes, maybe mistakes that you've had in the past, and those mistakes is just affecting you, and then it's just it's bringing reoccurring incidents to your heart. You're thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done it that way, maybe I shouldn't have done it this way. So instead of progressing,
you have recurrent patterns in your life.
Exactly in your life. So there's so much that could place people into confinement. Domestic violence can place people into confinement. Childhood neglect can place people into confinement, and people battling with life-threatening illnesses, they can be placed into confinement. So even some people living in a crime neighborhood as well, they can be confined, because then they'll be too careful about what's going on around me. They'll be, everything is emotional. So it could be emotional, it could be physical, it could be psychological, you see. So, but people always find a place the first thing that comes to your mind is, how do I make myself safe?
Safety.
Safety, that's what you'll be running towards. Now, because you are the one thinking about it, you are the one that have been through it, then that's why you see people that will say, oh, I need some time alone. I need some time alone. But if they keep saying that I need some time alone, time does not wait for anyone. Time goes away. As they're saying that they need the time, but time waits for no man. You see, so it begins to steal them, and the more they decide to isolate themselves from friends, from social gatherings, from work, and from all those stuff, they're going to bury themselves in confinement, and it's going to affect them. Before they know it, it's going to lead to trauma, and the journey of trauma is even the longest one ever. You see, so but once things are being done, when you've been through those things and it's quickly tackled, it is always easier to get out of it than when is building up. And different things begin to layer up upon whatever that has happened before. You see, so it's part of it. I have my own experience as well, because I remember when I was much younger. I have I used to have a younger brother then, but he's dead now.
Rest in peace.
Amen. So I went to pick him up in school. Then I was back in Nigeria. I went to pick him up in school. So I've actually brought him home, but I was trying to open the gate, and I just lose, concentration for a moment just to open the gate. And before I realized, he had already fallen into the gutter.
Oh.
And when he fell into the gutter, I didn't even think about it to be, so much, a big deal. So I took him inside. Then, our mom was in. Then I spoke to mom. I said, he fell down, and we tried to just massage it, with some rub and everything. But to cut the long story short, it began to swell.
Mm.
And we had to take him to the hospital. He had to be operated on.
No.
And yes, yeah.
Wow.
So it was supposed to be a minor operation, but I don't know what happened with the doctor. They made a major operation. And when I'm talking about major operation, I'm saying that it was from one end to another end of the belly. That's when the cut opened. And
Mm.
before we know it, tissue was coming out. And then that was how he passed on.
Oh.
For years, I carried the guilt on me that
Mm.
if only I was much more careful,
Mm.
maybe he would have still been alive.
Mm.
And because when people come to console someone who had lost a child, or who has lost a child, they focus on the parent.
Mm.
They forget the children. They forget that that person has a siblings. They forget that there is
Yeah.
a feeling that comes with that as well.
Mm.
Now, because of the fact that I was even the one that went to pick him up at school, and my mom unconsciously, on that very day that he fell, said, "Oh, maybe you were looking somewhere else. That's why that's why he fell into that." But that word that she said, even though that word she said is true, you see, that word went somewhere in my heart. Maybe
Mm.
if he didn't die, it would have been a different case.
Yeah.
But because he died, that single word that she never said anything apart from that. She
Mm.
never blamed me up. She never blamed me after them. But that was just the one word that she said.
Mm.
But that one word stood with me for years, and I beat myself up for that.
Mm.
And it withdrew me from my mom as well, because then I couldn't even go to, I couldn't be that close to her, because every time I see her, I felt like I was feeling guilty
Mm.
of what has happened, until God encountered me,
Mm.
and then begin to open my heart. God replayed the scene
Mm.
to me, and then began to speak to me about those things.
Mm.
Spoke to me about the incident, and then he began to speak to me about, forgiving myself,
Mm.
for what has happened, because it wasn't even my fault. There was nothing that I could have done. It was destined to happen. But
Mm.
how can you say that to the mother who has lost the child?
Yeah, lost a child. Mm.
Do you get my point now?
Mm.
So anything could cause someone to be in that place of confinement. I got
Mm.
my deliverance, you
Thank
see,
God.
but some people will still carry that guilt
Mm.
for the rest of their life.
Mm.
Now, if I remember my brother, I don't remember him as it was my fault that he died anymore.
Yeah.
You see, I remember him of a blessed memory. You
Oh.
see, I remember the memories that we shared together, but not the
Mm.
guilt part of it, which has,
Mm.
affected me for years, that I was just breaking free from. So anything could place someone in a place of confinement, even the things that we least expect, even the things that we don't even think at all that could place people to come, because we are different. We analyze things differently. Things means a lot to us differently,
Differently, yeah.
but
Mm.
we need to break free from that, because if we don't break free from that, there will be limitation to what we can do, and to whom we can become, and to who we can affect.
Mm. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you. This topic is so deep. Thank you so, so much for how you went in to touch every area of how people get pushed into confinement. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I like to say, what makes them stay? Because sometimes initially they don't even realize they're in confinement. But I don't know if briefly you can just tell us what makes them stay in confinement.
Oof, well, when bad things happen, it can take a while to get over the pain and feel safe again. Some people make an effort to get out. Some enjoy the attention that comes with it. So when people are saying, oh, is this what has happened to you? Oh, sorry. Oh, no. Okay, let me help you do this. Some people enjoy the attentions that comes with it. So they rather stay there to get everyone's attention.
Wow.
While some don't even know that they are confined. So some people make efforts to get out, but they don't know how. The next set of people, they enjoy the attention that comes with being confined. And the third people are those people who don't even know that they are confined at all. You know, because when it comes to trauma, for some people, it does not, those things that whatever has happened to them, take for instance, someone that has been sexually abused, the person may not think about it, you know, especially if it happened when they're a child. The person will not be able to, the person's brain will not be able to process it at that time.
Yeah.
But by the time they get older, it feels like the brain knows that they are ready for it now. And it brings back the memory. You see, and once it brings back the memory, it depends on how they tackle that memory. It depends on how they go into it that matters. Do you get what I mean now?
Yeah.
But so to them, it is a place of safety where they can hide, you know, their shame. You know, it is a place that they can just be and just be. Let me put it in that way to say that I'm safe. I'm safe here. As long as nobody knows, I'm okay. So another point is it could be ignorance. So to those people who don't even know that they are confined, they are ignorant of it. They just know that whenever they want to make any progress in their life, they just realize that they have this fear, you know, that happens. They'll just be scared. They can't go forward. Everyone is trying new things. They can't even do it. But they still don't understand that there are some things in their life that they still needs to go back, sit down, tackle it, then they can go, you know, move forward. Because even fear also can keep you confined.
Yeah.
Because when you are scared of anything, that means that you won't want to try that thing, you won't want to take that step. So then you remain in that position that you are, meaning that there is no growth. Growth will not be able to occur in your life.
Wow.
Because you are scared
yeah.
the next thing.
For me, I saw myself in, I remember the first I heard you speak about confinement in your podcast.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think on the audiogram, I saw myself and I was like, whoa. Before then, I didn't know I've had trauma because of events that have happened to me in my life, in my adult life. As a child, I didn't look at that, but as an adult, some events happened to me and it changed my whole life, my trajectory, my whole, everything I think I've achieved crumbled to like nothing. I didn't know was confinement at that. I saw myself shrinking and I kind of built a shell around me, as in I did not believe in myself again. And this went on for close to 16 years. I didn't even know how long, because I was living with it. Like you said, people live with it. To me, it's normal, but I knew there was a problem, but I didn't even know how to come out. I didn't know that was confinement. But I just told myself,
you don't even have a name for it.
Sorry?
Sometimes you don't even have a name for it.
Yes, I just know I couldn't come out of that event, the experience I had. It was like, I was repeating it every time. Everywhere I go, I must talk about it, like how, because I wanted help. So I was saying, but people around me were seeing me like, just see her just narrating her story. But they didn't know the pain. It was the pain that is making me say, can I get help? And then there was no support. Nobody could. They hear the story and move along like, whoa, this story is like Nollywood story. But in hindsight, it's pain. Somebody is crying. I'm like, I used to wonder that, is this, especially coming to the Western world, is this the kind of people you meet here? That we are the human beings I knew as a Christian. I was seeing human beings, but they were not, the kind of flesh they had was hardened. I'm like, but I don't know, maybe that season God wanted me to see the kind of people that, because I think everybody is good because of the way I am. I believed in people, but when I was in that situation, oh my God, it was as if, God, are you not hearing me? But I couldn't let go. One day, a friend came to my house. This was less than 2 years ago. And she was like, oh my God. And the way I was talking, sometimes you talk, you don't know because you've lost your identity, you've lost everything. So your new identity is this somebody that used to be eloquent, very intelligent, you speak, people respect. And I came to a place whereby I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. And I didn't know it was trauma. And this person, because she had known me from secondary school, the lady, she came with her husband and kids and she said, whoa. She called me aside and I thank God for that day. She said, wow, see the way you talk. If I did not know you before, you were so much intelligent, secondary school, we respected you. That if I did, she was my senior by 2 years. She said, if I didn't know you before, I knew who you were before. I knew when you were working as a banker. I knew your progress in life. So if I didn't know you, I'm seeing you because I've known you before. I knew something is wrong. You need help. Say, oh, my sister, we need to pray that you tire me when you talk. That I keep hearing this over and over. That's when I knew, is there something really wrong with me? She said, I need to nip it at the but I said, I can't. I don't know. She said, you have to, snap out of it. I'm like, she has not gone through what I've gone through. So she can easily say what she's saying. Do you understand? But I know she wanted me to leave that place. And she said, let's pray. She and her husband have prayed on me. That was the first seed day. So and from that day, I was conscious to say, wow, I didn't know. Is this the way I sound over these years, over like 13, 14 years? I did not know. And that kept me like, oh my God, God help me. But I couldn't help myself. Every day, the way I was talking is because I was looking for help, but I was looking for it in the wrong place. I don't know if you understand. Maybe I was praying, but then my situation did not change. So I was in confinement for so long. So the day you made that talk, I was like, oh my God. Yes, when you were talking, I said, yes, this is me. I'm here, but I didn't even know I was there all along. So after she said that, did it take me so long as well? I want to come up, but I couldn't forget that. I couldn't help myself until just in this period, sometime like 2 months ago, I met a prayer group, a ladies group, which someone introduced me to. And I've been going and God was just doing his work. And on this particular day, I said, God, there's this incident I've gone through in my life. My whole life changed. I don't want to be like this anymore. I want to change. You guys help me. Is there any way? I just want to forget this thing. It's a pain. I didn't even know how somebody can carry it. That's why, like you said, some people, I'm getting very emotional here. So some people are, so two things the same thing can happen to two people, but they take them differently. How it affects my own affected, where somebody would have snapped out of it in 1 month or 1 year. It took me 16 years. I did not snap out of this until like 2 months and a half ago, like 2 months ago. Yet when people would have like, what happened to you that? It might look so trivial, but how it affected me, affected my whole life.
For everyone, the process of healing is different from each other, you see. So some people, it could take them a week, some people it takes them months, some people it takes them years. But you just have to understand your progress and appreciate your progress.
Sometimes I just say, God, I wish the people I am surrounded with in this season of my life, I'd known them like 10 years ago. I would not have stayed long in this place. I say, wow.
There's a reason for everything. You may not understand it now, but there will still be an explanation. There will be an opening that you would look back and you will look at every experiences that you've been through. It is painful right now, but by the time you begin to speak about them in the future to someone who is probably going through the same thing, you'll begin to understand the reason why you've been through there. You see, some people have to have to go through fire so that other people will not go through.
I'm that one that went through fire to come refine us, go to help other people.
You are called for a purpose.
I kind of understand that. Okay, at the time I was going through this, I never saw anybody that could use their life to show my own as example. It's either people hide and not talk about theirs. But I went through it, and each time I'm talking, because I'm opening up, you expect someone that has gone through also, oh, this happened to my sister, or let me advise you, or God will help you, or this happened to me. I wasn't seeing anybody like that. So I used to think I was the only one. Not knowing a lot of people were going through it, they were covering it, putting band-aid on that wound, not treating it or just covering it. That's what they were doing. But me, I was going through the pain, not knowing I was going through that pain to heal. But because of that, the empathy I have, when I hear someone that goes through my situation, the way I jump up to is as if, let me come and help you, let me hug you, because I went through all the detailed pain for years. So I feel it. I'm like, even if I can't do much, but I'm going to talk to you. All I wanted at that time was support. Did I get it? No. And I don't know, maybe God made that particularly for me to go through that pain. I know what it feels to be in a lonely place where you're crying for help, you're not saying. If I didn't go through it, I know the pain. So when I see it, I understand how to stretch a hand of support to someone, because I've been there.
That's right. That's right. I'm thankful for where you are now, and I am grateful for where you're going, because your healing is going to be permanent, or it is permanent. Amen. In the name of Jesus.
Amen. Amen. Okay, moving on. Thank you so much. I would say, I was just wondering here, like people, a lot of people are in confinement, know, some know, but they don't know how to get out. Like, who can be in confinement? Because some people might think, oh, maybe they are the weak. Some people are weak. They just really a group of people can be in confinement. So who are the likely people that can be in confinement? Just to let people know that. I mean, examples. Can it be anybody? Can it be everybody?
Yes. Anyone can be confined. And
absolutely.
To shock you, confinement can even take place from 18 months. 18 months, a baby. 18 months till maybe what's the last age in the world? I don't even know. Till we die.
Till we die. Yeah. Let us say 150.
Exactly. Because take for instance, a child who was given birth and needed, to be in intensive care for a long time. They are being confined. That's not the usual process. Do you get what I mean? So confinement is not because I'm exempted because I'm perfect. I know how to do it. No. And like the Bible verse that I read for you before, which says that in this world there are tribulations.
Absolutely.
That's John 15:33. It says that I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In the world there are tribulations, but be of good cheer, for he has overcome the world. So there is no limitation. There is no age gap. There's no age limit when it comes to confinement. Even a child of 4 years old could be confined. A child of 2 years old could be confined when they go through things that are that is beyond them. And some people they can have a very smooth childhood, but when they get older, they begin to have those things. So for some people, it could even be inferiority complex. We just keep them confined for a long. They may not have, they may not be traumatized before in their life, but they might just be one voice in their head telling them that they cannot do something. And because that voice is still there in your head, and you've not fought that word or that voice, or you've not spoken to yourself and rebuke that voice that is speaking negativity, into your life, you will be confined, because then even to put yourself forward to things will be difficult. Because you would have pulled yourself off several times to say, you are not worthy. They don't want you there. Do you think you are the kind of people that they want there? Do you think when they see your face, they want your face? Do you think that's the way people speak? You are not eloquent. You are not brilliant. You are not smart. You say all those things to yourself. And you just, at the end of the day, when you are concluding, you will just say, you know what? Let me just stay where I am. At least I'm okay. I can eat. I can feed. I can clothe. I even have a car. It's fine. It's fine by me. I'll just be there. It is confinement until we begin to explore, because this earth is so filled with God's goodness and God's glory, and we are dominating a little bit, a small part of what we are supposed to be dominating. Because to spread our wings to fly, is difficult because of some backgrounds, because of some words that has been spoken to us, because of some things, some people who have said, oh, you cannot do it, and you've believed that lie because you don't even know what the truth is anyway. So you believe their lie over your own truth.
Yeah.
Until you find out your truth, until you find out your identity, you will not be able to break free from those voices.
Wow.
You will not be able to break free from those limitations. So it is not age bound at all. Anyone can be confined, but the way we deal with it is different. So some people fight it, some people flight, they run away. Some people freeze when it happens and it's just a standstill. And some people just fun. What do I mean by fun? So that's the people that they, like throwing a bait. So they'll be like, okay, so if I don't want this, okay, let me do this. Okay, take for instance someone who has been bullied or who is going through bullying. So instead of standing to fight those people or to say to them, no, I'm not going to take this from you, or I would not like you to disrespect me. Words like that. And you cannot say that. So with fun, you just stay there. Whatever they tell you to do, you just do it straight. But you are being confined because that is not you. You don't want to do that. You are being forced to take that action because that is not the action you would have taken on a normal day. So anybody can be confined.
Wow.
So
wow.
Even pastors can be confined. Just think about the biggest person can be confined. Anyone can be. No one is beyond tribulation. No one is beyond events, certain events of life. They're events of life. Things happen. You don't think about it before they happen. In fact, you don't even write a letter of invitation to them before trauma looks for you or before trouble looks for you. You don't have to. You don't even have to just say, okay, I'm ready, I'm available. But it just happens.
Yeah, the worst thing is when you're confined, people don't even know you're confined. You are the only one that knows you're confined. Sometimes people don't know.
It's possible. Yeah, because people still see you. You still go to work.
You still do normal things, but it's you that knows you're limited, or someone that knows you before. Yeah,
exactly.
If they pay close attention.
Inward, you know that something is not
it's
right.
Wrong. Right. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking time to dive into this question, because this will unravel a lot of things for us, and many of us will start looking for help. And I pray we'll find help in the right place in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Yeah. How can people come out of confinement, as a lot of people don't know how to get out? For me, I never knew how to get out for a long time. Thank God I'm out and my healing journey has started, but how do people get out of confinement?
Good. First is you need to acknowledge that you are confined. It takes someone who is sick to go to the hospital. For someone who is not sick, you don't need a doctor, do you?
No.
But for someone who is sick, and you know that this sickness that is affecting me, it is beyond me, then you need to seek for help. So, but the first thing is acknowledging that you are being confined, and seeing through the lens of God. Sometimes we know that we are being confined, but we tend to look at the negative part of it, because when you are seeing through the lens of God, God will make you see the richness in you and help you want to fight for it, so that you can begin to live in that life.
Absolutely. Wow, that is great.
And the next one is you need to let God be your first coach. I cannot overemphasize this. A lot of people try to, because they've been traumatized, and people say, oh, you can have a coach, they will coach you, have a therapist, have a counselor. But let me tell you, when those people go to those coaches first, And that is why they come back and they say, oh, I still feel the same way.
Like
Nothing has changed.
Nothing changed.
You know, nothing is working. It didn't work. It's not just for me. And they just give up on life and, you know, start thinking about suicide. Because they think that, okay, people have been to therapy and they are now better. How come mine is different? You say, but if God is the first coach, God will break those foundations because it looks like, you know, when you are building a house and the foundation is not solid, you know that whatever you are building on that foundation, by the time rain falls or if there's heavy wind, it's going to blow it away.
Wow.
But if the foundation is solid, whatever you are building on that foundation will stand forever and will stand the test of time.
What you're saying is true. Yeah. Because that was my experience. That was my experience.
You need to encounter God first before you begin to, once you acknowledge that this is what is going on with me, take it to God in prayer. And I've seen people say they are praying, but they are still hiding things from God. They are used to hiding things, so they cannot come out straight. But if you need that healing, you need to go to God, opening up to the tiniest details, meaning that tell God how you feel. I feel this, I feel that, I feel that. This is what I think has happened. This is what is going on. You know, be broken in the presence of God. Don't try to be a perfect person when you are going to God. Go there, be broken, tell God how it is. And even before you go there, God already knows what it is. God is just waiting. God is just waiting for you to ask for his permission. Because he will not invade in your privacy.
No, he doesn't. No.
So he will wait for you to ask for his permission so that he can then begin to work on your foundation. So once that foundation is properly laid, then God will lead you to that coach, to that counselor, to that therapist who has that blueprint for your healing and for your progress.
Wow.
Every coach is not for you.
True.
But when God leads you to that coach, you know that whatever that person is saying is like a confirmation of what God is saying to you in your secret place.
Wow. True.
But if you go to any coach that does not have your blueprint, that does not understand what you are going through, they will tell you the general form of what they are doing, and it will not have effects in your life. But if it is God that is ordering you there, God has already given that person something that would help you. And by the time you go there, the person will give you a unique word or unique table or unique program that you would have to go through that would help you come out totally, you know, be liberated, start living in fulfillment.
Wow.
And the next one is if it's possible, the person can join a support group. People who are like minds that have been through what you've been through before, because definitely you will be speaking the same language. It's not people that would think you are just an attention seeker, or you are just someone that you're just trying to make it up and make it look big. Or then people will try and tell you, oh, are you the only one? It's happened to so many people, you know. But if you have people who have been through the same journey, you can hold each other's hand, encourage one another. However, be mindful. Do not go to those people who are still struggling to get up, that they will overwhelm you and it will affect your own growth at the same time. So you need to go to people, you need to join a support group that they believe in liberation. They believe in what the word, in what God asked for them in the word, and they want to possess it. So those people, you'll be talking about what works for you. They'll be talking about what works for them. So you'll be healing together. Your iron will be sharpening one another.
Absolutely.
And that will help you go out.
Wow.
Come out of confinement.
Wow. Thank you.
And
So,
also,
okay.
do not try to take everything at once. Do not try to do everything at once. Set small targets for yourself. Set the targets that you can easily achieve. Don't go too big and say, by tomorrow, I'll be totally healed. There's a process. You can't build a house in a day. So there is a process. You need to cut it to small targets that you can achieve. That by the time you wake up tomorrow morning and you realize that you've successfully, completed the one you did yesterday, you'll be happy. And because it's a positive thing that is happening in your life, it's going to affect you as well. And it will encourage you, motivate you to move further into it. So you don't need to focus on the things that you cannot change, but put your energy on the things that will make you feel better. Try not to compare yourself with other people. Know that healing is peculiar. Your own time is different from other people's time. Do not isolate yourself. If anything happens to you, even while you are healing, try to speak it out. Try to spill it out immediately. Don't conceive. Don't conceive it. Surround yourself with love. Wherever you know that love exists here and is genuine, go there, because it will help you. It will elevate your spirit. It will help you. You won't be sorrowful. You won't be bad. Some people, you can be in the midst of a lot of people and you still feel lonely because it's a thing of the mind. So you need to surround people where genuine love, where if you are in a place and there is genuine love, it's contagious. So you are just going to tap into those things, and it's going to help you. Okay. So just support yourself with people who are like minds, or people who can actually help to pull you out whenever you begin to feel, or you begin to fall in your episode, you begin to feel withdrawn. Those people will pull you out. Those people will be pulling you out. No, you're not going back there. That's not where you're supposed to be. So that's why you need to be accountable to someone. Maybe you could have a coach, or you could have a friend, or you could have someone that would constantly check in on you to see how your progress is going. And also, when you're trying to use coping mechanism, use the one prescribed by your doctor. Don't try to start using alcohol or cigarettes or gambling or drugs to relieve the loneliness, because they will only contribute, to your mental health.
Powerful.
So
that was powerful.
You just have to think about yourself first. Love yourself unconditionally. It starts from there. Maybe today, look at your hand, love on your hand. Look at your eyes tomorrow, love on your eyes. Look at
small bits at a time.
Exactly, bit by bit at a time. Before you know it, you'll be able to stand in front of a mirror and say to yourself again, I am beautiful. And once you start that, there is that confidence. The way you carry yourself will be different.
Wow. Well done. Thank you so much. Like I say, the confinement is something that is huge. And if you've not been in it, you won't get it. And getting out of it might look difficult. But like you said, taking one day at a time and being mindful. Like my journey has been a very long one. And though before I had the prayers that I finally broke out of that shackles that held me for 16 years, I was being mindful. For me to cope for each day, I needed to cope. If you ask me, before I used to be a planner, I think about the future. I stopped doing that because it makes me unwell. So I will just live for today or for just the next one. I just only plan for today. I don't plan for the rest of the week, because that was how I can cope. When things are too much, I just get overwhelmed. I feel, I'm alone. I feel there's no one to help me. So I break down, I go back there. So the only way I was able to live day to day was being mindful, appreciating my day to day, my surroundings. Look at what God has done. Look at the trees. Nature. I lived in an environment for over 10 years. I didn't know the structures that were there, because for so long, my head was always down. I would drive past a particular place I never knew. It was now when I started appreciating my environment, because I went for a mindfulness class, and she was saying, look around you, absorb. And when I was doing that, I said, oh my God, you know, I've been passing here for so long. This structure I've been here, I never knew, never saw it. because I was enveloped, I was confined in my problems. And that's the only way I felt I could cope, was once I'm going through something, I wrap it around me. I shut myself, and I found that that's not a life. You can't live like that. Everybody goes through stuff, but I didn't have the understanding. Some people pretend all is well, but some people just know how to cope and some don't. I used to fall into that category of not really knowing how to cope with, because I started having issues as an adult. Growing up, I didn't really have anything. Some people started suffering there as small kids. So those ones have coping strategy. But me as an adult, from full adult, you now start having crises or having situations I can't cope. It's hard because nobody taught me how to cope. All I knew was how to succeed. I didn't how to nobody taught me how to manage failure. I'm actually reading a book now that is called Failing Forward. So I'm learning how to manage failure. All I knew in life was success. So I never knew failure until something happened to me and I crashed. And I thank God, at least some people would have died in their own. I thank God for his grace, for his kindness, that yes, though I was confined for so long, which I never knew, but at least I am out. I am out of confinement. I thank God for so many people that is in confinement, there's a way out. For me, it was like the darkest place. I didn't know I would ever come out, because the longer you take, like you were saying, it's easier. It's better you come out early or get help on time. The longer you stay in confinement, I saw my world as bleak. My whole life was limited. I never knew I could jump past that place. That wall was like nothing good would come out of this. This was my end. But I thank God, because the enemy waits for that dark place where you are not confined and isolated. It comes to speak words of wickedness and darkness, or words that have no life to you. And what betide you, like you said, if you're not surrounded by genuine people that love you. I loved it when you said that, because a lot of people could surround you and hear your story, but they're doing nothing. They actually just mock you. But when God surrounds you with the right people, they will take you out, because you cannot be surrounded with light and be in darkness. No, if you're surrounded with genuine light, that light will spark on you as well. So we thank God we thank God for how he surrounds us with the right people at the right time. Thank you so much. Kennie, I really, really did appreciate your time and how you spent took your time to explain these things. It's well explained and it's well exposed to people. You've exposed this so much that people will understand. Even people that never knew they were in confinement, they can see and understand why they got there. And it's not your fault. You got there, like you said, it's not something you planned to. It happened even without your own knowledge, something that happens that you place yourself, not because you place yourself, they just happens because of life's event. So I'd like you to say, what last word do you have to say to people that have gone through confinement, that are in confinement, or people that have just entered confinement? Some are aware and some are not. What last word can you say to them?
I like to say that broken vessel is incapable to hold water. So when a vessel is broken, it cannot, it would have, destroyed the work or the plan of the maker. So if you are broken, you will not be able to hold your goodness. You will not be able to flourish. You will not be able to be that vase that could hold a beautiful flower. You will not be able to be that vase that would hold, water for people to drink. So God does not want you to deprive yourself or deprive anyone around you or everyone that you have been called to, but to give you the best. So we don't have to surrender, to confinement. We don't have to be totally committed to being confined, but there has to be reevaluation about what is important in our life. And I would like to share a Bible verse with us or anyone listening.
Yeah.
And that Bible verse is in the book of Romans chapter 8, verses 32. It says that, so what do you think? With God on our side like this, how can we lose? If God didn't hesitate to put everything on the line for us, embracing our condition, and exposing himself to the worst by sending his own son, is there anything else he wouldn't gladly and freely do for us?
Wow.
So whatever that we are going, no matter the confinement that you are going through, God is able to set you free.
Wow.
But God needs your permission. It needs your attention. It needs it needs you to pause. You know, sometimes we overwork ourselves too much, even when we know that we are being confined. You just keep walking. But until there is a pause, you will not understand that you have actually gone beyond where you're supposed to be. I mean, in a wrong way now. You've gone deeper in a wrong way, in a wrong direction. But if there is a pause, you will rethink about what's going on in my life. And then you know that you need God in it. Know that God needs to work on your foundation before you can then proceed in life.
Wow.
And for everyone who don't know yet that they are confined, I would want you to pray a specific prayer to God and ask God to expose the hidden things. If you are that person that you just know that unconsciously you're always in shock, you're always scared, or if you know that you are in denial, or if you know that there is disbelief, there is confusion, there is difficulty in concentrating, there is anger, there is irritability, there is mood swing, there is anxiety, there is fear, there is guilt, there is shame, there is self-blame, withdrawing from other people, feeling sad or hopeless, feeling disconnected. If you know that you are feeling any of this, or if you know that you just have this fatigue that you cannot explain, or maybe you are being startled easily, or your heart just start racing fast when you think about something, or you are agitating about something, go before God and ask God to reveal those things to you. Because even these things will not qualify you as a child of God, because we're expected to live our life to the fullest, because God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of peace, of sound mind. So if you have that fear, know that it has nothing to do with God. There is something that you still need to deal with. So you know that you need to go back and begin to ask, begin to re-examine yourself, reevaluate yourself, and begin to think, what is that part of me that just makes me feel incomplete, because you are supposed to be complete in God. So if you still feel incomplete or inadequate, then you need to go back to God and ask God to expose it to you. Ask God to open your eyes so that God can heal you from it. And then you can begin to soar higher like an eagle. And also change your mindset. You need to begin to use a kingdom mindset. You need to know who you are so that you can begin to walk in that purpose of God for your life.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much, Kennie Crown. Thank you so much for helping us expose what confinement is, for showing us that telling us that anyone can be in confinement. Nobody is too big or too small to be confined, and showing us the tricks of how to get ourselves out of confinement, and things that can put us in confinement, and things that we can liberate ourselves with the word of God, by knowing God, our source, and going to him first as our helper before we start seeking men. Because when we draw near to God, God's going to draw near to us. And when we seek him, it can direct us to that coach or helper that God has imprinted into our lives, that would help us walk that journey. And it's brilliant and also exciting to know that we can be set free.
That's right. Freedom is assured.
Yes, it's so refreshing to hear that one can come. When I was confined, I didn't even know there was a way out. It was just bleak all around. And when the right people are not in your space, you can't see a way out. So I thank you for so much. I thank for this topic that you were able to pieces it, for people to say, oh God, I need help. People living in denial denial would not stop it. You can only suppress it. We all need help. We need to come out of whatsoever confinement we or life has thrown us into. but we need to come out and be liberated and be set free and start flourishing and start living that life which God has created us for, that destiny, our purpose. For us to excel and flourish, we have to be in our elements. If you're not in your element, you won't flourish. If you put fish on the sand, that fish will die. But when you put fish, you would just it won't really move and you think this fish is slow. But immediately you put the fish in a tank of water or in the sea or in a swimming pool, then you see that fish is a genius, because that fish was not in its element. That's why it couldn't move. And that's how we are when we are confined. When you give that definition of a wall, a container, wow. If you're put in a container about just the size of your body, you cannot move now. You can't excel.
That's right.
You can't even turn. So you wouldn't even know your capacity. You are just limited all around. But when you are set free and all those walls are broken, wow, you're living a life of limitless glory. You begin to soar like the eagle. So thank you so much, Kennie Crown. I love you, love. I always love you.
Love you too.
love you. And you have done justice to this topic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for honoring this invitation. I really do appreciate. Thank you so much, and God bless.
Amen. And you too.
Okay. Thanks for joining us this week on the Scarred But Not Damaged podcast. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Scarred But Not Damaged, so you don't miss a show. Kindly subscribe to the show so you know when new episodes are released, and leave us a review so we can continue to bring you amazing episodes. Thanks for listening, and see you next week.